Assalamu alaikum. How are you all? Okay, we have been dealing with a very important topic yesterday. So today we will continue with that topic. That is the geostrategic importance of Pakistan. Okay, so in the proximity of power, with great powers, right? Not only Russia, not only China, but Pakistan is situated quite close to Russia as well, right? Not directly linked with Russia, but it is quite close to Russia. So definitely, as I have been mentioning, that the Road and Belt Initiative of Chinese government, Xi Jinping, that would be beneficial for the whole region, for Central Asia as well, and this CPEC, right, Pakistan. So this CPEC later on can be linked with the larger network of belts or roads constructed by China, and via that network Russia is also linked. So either via CPEC, via China, Pakistan, via China to Russia, or directly from another extension of this CPEC to Afghanistan, and then to Central Asia and then China. But Pakistan can be linked. Pakistan is situated in the proximity of these great powers, and that is why Pakistan's importance is very much there for anyone, right? For those powerful nations who would somehow want to compete with China in the region would also have to access Pakistan, or compete with the Russian supremacy, because Russia is again an emerging power, right? A regional power. It is becoming a regional power, and it is posing kind of threat to the US supremacy in the region, particularly after the Cold War, right? So under Vladimir Putin, Russia is again emerging. Again, it is on the rise. So Russia is also a power in the American perspective. It is a power to be dealt with, right? So Pakistan is, in this context, again for Russia and China, Pakistan is also very important in this context, right? That it is in the proximity of these great powers. This is one aspect. Then any kind of alliances between the world powers, may it be an alliance between China and Russia, may it be an alliance between Russia and India, may it be an alliance between US and China, right? I'm just talking hypothetically, but may it be an alliance between US and China. Pakistan cannot be ignored. Rather, it enhances the significance of Pakistan. So any kind of political moves in the region by the great powers, by the international actors, right, and the sole superpower, which is the United States of America, any kind of alliance which it is going to make in the region, it cannot ignore Pakistan. And it enhances the importance of Pakistan. For example, after the 9/11, it made Pakistan an ally just to achieve its objectives in Afghanistan, right? So any kind of alliance in the region basically enhances the significance, the importance of Pakistan, and that is because of its geostrategic importance, its geographical location, and the issues going on in the region. That is because of all these things. It is a cumulative effect of all these things, right? So Pakistan cannot be ignored. Its position is enhanced, its importance is enhanced, right? After the 9/11, though I am telling you time and time again that I'll be discussing it in the coming classes, because there is a separate topic about the role of Pakistan in war against terrorism. So definitely I'll be dealing that with this aspect over there. We will be discussing that over there. But briefly, Pakistan's importance has been increased after the 9/11, as I have discussed in the previous point as well. And Pakistan has not only realized this thing, that its importance has been increased, but it has tried to, up to some extent, utilize its importance after the 9/11, right? So now, how far these efforts of Pakistan have been successful, or how far they could not achieve the desired objectives for Pakistan, we will discuss that in that particular topic over there. Then security and business, there are two main US interests in the region, while Pakistan is playing a frontline role in the war against terrorism, right? So security and interests are the two main US objectives in this region. Number one, security, because the United States of America was attacked, and the organization which attacked the United States of America was situated in Afghanistan. Afghanistan was used as a sanctuary for that by that organization under the Taliban regime, right? So the United States of America considered it really important to ensure its security by attacking that country, that organization which has attacked it, and that country which had given refuge to that organization, right? So that is why for the security purpose, this is the main reason that the United States of America is over here in Afghanistan, in this region, right? It is situated over here in Afghanistan. And the other main purpose for the United States of America is business in the region, right? So business in the region is basically, as I have briefly discussed, touched upon this issue, that Afghanistan is a resource-rich country. So if Afghanistan's resources are somehow captured and then utilized for the benefit of the US, then the US economy can stay ahead of the rest of the world for many more decades to come, right? So that is why for that business purpose, the control of the resources of Afghanistan is also important for the United States of America, and it gives Pakistan an edge, because in order to do that, the United States of America would first of all have to eliminate all the disgruntled elements in Afghanistan, including the Taliban and the rest of the militants, right? And then it has to secure the resources of Afghanistan, and then develop, Afghanistan, and promote trade in the region, and to get benefit from it, right? Like a policeman of the region. So it wants to play this role because it is a region of great economic potential. So the United States of America wants to play the role of a policeman of the region, in the region, to be here, so that all economic activities carried out, not only the resources of Afghanistan, but the rest of the economic activities carried out in the region should be with the approval of the United States of America first of all, and then the United States of America would also get benefit from those activities, from those economic activities. And like, for example, the IPI, Iran, Pakistan, India pipeline project, it has been halted. It has been halted because the United States of America did not approve of this pipeline, though it had nothing to do with the United States of America, but it was against the larger interest of the US in the region, because Iran would have gotten benefit, and it was under the economic sanctions for not cooperating with the IAEA and the international community on its needs. So Iran was under the economic sanctions by the US, particularly by the US, right? So by the UN, but backed by the US, right? So basically it was against the interest, the US interest in the region, so that because it does not want Iran to be powerful enough against Saudi Arabia then in the region, right? It does not want to see a revolutionary Iran, because before the revolution they had good terms with the Iranian government, but then after the revolution these terms were severed. So it does not want the Iranian, the revolutionary Iran, the post-revolutionary revolution Iran to be economically strengthened so that it can pose challenges to the US and the Saudi designs in the region and the Saudi supremacy in the region, because now there is a difference of ideology. That is another cult of Islam, and this is the Saudi cult of Islam is another cult of Islam. So this is the difference of ideologies then. So for these reasons the United States of America then, it does not want it to it did not want that IPI project to be completed, because the ultimate benefit of the project would have been for Iran in economic terms, right? Though India and Pakistan would have gotten some benefit out of it, because India is an energy hungry country, because it is trying to economically, it is a thriving economy and it needs energy for its industries, and energy was being provided, or it was thought that it will be provided, that it would be provided by Iran. So then the civilian nuclear deal with India, the United States of America made that deal with India in 2005 and 2006 in order to cater for the energy needs of the Indian economy, but it halted that IPI project, Iran, Pakistan, India project, and it is up till date incomplete, right? Iran has done its part. On its part, it is being reported in the media that it has constructed major things on its part, major part of the pipeline which was situated in Iran. It has constructed, the infrastructure has been developed for that, but then it could not take off, right? Because Pakistan was an ally, it is still an ally of the United States of America in this region. So for that, in order to achieve its design in the region, right, the United States of America relied on Pakistan, and for economic interest, for business purposes as well, right? So that thing cannot be ignored. The importance of Pakistan, whether Pakistan has been used or whether Pakistan is using its position wisely, that is a question, that is a debatable question, right? But the importance of Pakistan cannot be denied. That Pakistan is a very important country. Whatever is happening in the region, whoever is doing it, that particular power understands the importance of Pakistan, and whatever is happening in the region cannot happen without the support of Pakistan, without the proper positive support of Pakistan. So this is important. This is important for you to understand this as well. Then apart from this US interest in the region to contain the growing China, nuclear Iran, terrorist Afghanistan, or terrorism in Afghanistan, I would correct it, not terrorist Afghanistan, but terrorism in Afghanistan is the right word, because Afghanistan is not terrorist basically. There is terrorism in Afghanistan, and Afghanistan is suffering from that terrorism as well. So yeah, forgive me for this, right? Not terrorist Afghanistan, but terrorism in Afghanistan. And to benefit from the market of India, right? Now these are some of the issues for the United States of America. These are the interests of the United States of America in order to contain the growing China, because China is really growing. It is growing with a pace that some analysts predict that after 30 to 40 years the Chinese economy will surpass the US economy, the Chinese GDP will surpass the US GDP, and that is an alarming analysis, an alarming situation for the United States of America. And with this current government in the United States, the Donald Trump administration, it is seriously thinking over putting some economic protectionist policies in place, because this is a free trade era is the globalization and the, you know, the liberalism. It is being implemented, the WTO, the free trade regulations, and everything is there, right? General agreement on tariff and trade, and these things are there. So basically in the open market where tariffs are not there, implemented there, the Chinese are just flooding the US market, the European markets, and with good quality products on a lower price because the labor is cheap in China. So the Chinese economy is growing, and the United States of America in a fair play cannot compete with the Chinese in order to counter their economy, in order to contain them. They need to implement, they need to not abide by the law of trade, of free trade. So things are, I think, in the pipeline, and maybe very soon, in the coming few months, we would see that there is an economic tension being materialized. The economic tension which is going on right now would be materialized in shape of some protectionist policies introduced against China by the United States of America, right? Because its economy is in deficit. The trade deficit is there, and it is in hundreds of billions of dollars with China. So the United States of America cannot afford this thing. So in order to contain the growing China, right, in economic terms, it is important for Pakistan to have good relations. It is important for the United States of America to keep Pakistan in its fold. So that is again the importance of Pakistan, right? That is their larger plan, but again it is the importance of Pakistan, and if Pakistan plays its cards wisely, now it has got an upper edge over the United States of America in this, because Pakistan is giving way to China to have access to the Arabian Sea through Gwadar and CPEC, right? Pakistan is becoming an ally of China in this matter. But at the same time, if Pakistan kind of plays a balancing role between China and the United States of America, and do not completely become dependent over China, Pakistan can also get benefit from the United States of America for itself, for its economy, for its defense, you know, to keep India in check, I would say, right? As the US has already made a civilian nuclear deal with India. So if this is the importance of Pakistan, and the US is relying on Pakistan against China on this issue, Pakistan can also put forward some demands, right? That okay, CPEC will not be used, for example, against the US interest, against the Indian interest, and it will be there. But yeah, if you want to take benefit from it, you just come over here and participate with us in this development, and yeah, we will welcome you. You will also get benefit as a global power from this CPEC project and this and that. So it is up to, the sky is the limit, you know, as I usually say, sky is the limit. So it is up to the government and the policy makers of Pakistan about how to make good use of this position and this changing political and economic dynamics in the region, and the interests of the great and the global powers and the regional powers in the region, and how to keep a good balance in it and take maximum benefit out for itself as well, right? Now this is up to the Pakistani policymakers. How do they do it? Then in order to keep Iran in check, again US is dependent on Pakistan, because as I have already told you that Iran has got this nuclear pipeline, this gas pipeline, not nuclear pipeline, sorry for that. This gas pipeline, Iran has got this gas pipeline project, and it will get benefit from this project. But in order to reach India, it has to cross Pakistan, right? So again, for Pakistan if the United States and the pipeline was for the benefit of Pakistan as well, right? This IPI pipeline was for the benefit of Pakistan as well, because Pakistan is also facing energy crisis. We have power cuts. Our industries cannot run full time because of the power cuts and the scarcity of power in Pakistan, shortage of water and the rest of the things, and then this power is not enough for the industrial growth of Pakistan. So the thing is that Pakistan can also put forward these demands to India, to the United States of America, and ask it to support if it does not want Pakistan to go ahead with the IPI project, then the United States of America should offer a concrete alternative for Pakistan, right? Because it is in the interest, not only the economic interest, but the energy interest of Pakistan as well. So then the United States of America should offer some concrete support to Pakistan in order to stop Pakistan from going ahead with this Iran, India and Pakistan pipeline, right? So but the whole thing is that Pakistan is important in this era as well, because the big constraint which Iran is having right now is the constraint on its economy. Though the Iranian deal has been made and the Iranian economy is progressing right now, but the thing is that, again, like with the Donald Trump administration, you can expect anything. So again, ties with Iran are tense, and every 3 months the administration is supposed to sign a certificate for Iran to renew that deal, and to help Iran get benefit of out of that deal, which in the last months of Obama administration had been finalized. So things are that the Trump administration is in no way favorable to the Iranian deal, because the Saudi Arabian government, the Saudis, they are not in favor of this Iranian deal. The Israelis, they are not in favor of this Iranian deal. And in the region, Saudi Arabia is an ally of the United States of America, and Israel is an ally of the United States of America. So under their pressure, the Trump administration, it is quite probable, something more than a probable, I would say. I cannot find a word for that, but more than a probable, that this Iranian deal would be made, would be rolled back. This lifting of sanctions from Iran and the Iran deal would be, the US is not happy with that. So I think that it will, if they want to carry on with that deal, they will somehow change some of the clauses of this deal, or they will or they might outrightly reject it. The US I'm talking about the US administration, though there is opposition from the European Union, different countries like France and Germany and other European Union countries. So there is an opposition from those European Union countries, but US is a powerful country. So the European Union, even if it is in favor of this deal, but if the United States of America somehow in future decides that this deal is not workable and the US does not want to remain part of the deal, then this deal will be dead. Practically it will be dead. There will be no deal then. So that nuclear Iran needs economy, good economy, because under the economic sanctions, Iranian people have been suffering. So it pushed Iran for that deal, right? And now Iran is dependent on good relations with the West, right? And in order to keep Iran in check, previously the IPI was halted, right? So basically, in order to, you would say that in order to strangulate Iran, the US is dependent on the regional countries, and Pakistan is one of those regional countries where the US can put pressure to have this kind or that kind of relations with Iran, so that US objectives vis-a-vis Iran can be achieved. So this is, whether that is good or that is bad, this is debatable again, but this is this shows the importance, this highlights the importance of Pakistan for the policymakers in the US in terms of Iran as well, right? And then to deal with the terrorism in Afghanistan, right, to deal with the terrorism, not terrorist Afghanistan, in Afghanistan, the United States of America is basically dependent more than anything on Pakistan, more than any other country on Pakistan. Why? Because Pakistan has got a 50 kilometers border with Afghanistan. Pakistan has been the launching pad for attacks on the Red Army in Afghanistan. So this is, we will be discussing this in the future class, but that's, in order to deal that, they need to depend on Pakistan. The United States is dependent on Pakistan in order to achieve that objective, to eliminate terrorism from Afghanistan and make Afghanistan peaceful. It is dependent on Pakistan because it cannot do alone that thing. And there is a history of CIA and ISI working together in Afghanistan against the Red Army, against the Soviet Union in the 1980s. Right, so that history basically is important for this relation, for the goals of the US in Afghanistan. They know that Pakistan knows a lot, so Pakistan should be kept in its camp, otherwise they will not be able to achieve that objective, right? So that is why in this again Pakistan is very important. Then another very important thing I would say, that is to get benefit from the market of India. Like India is more than a billion population, 1.2 billion or 1.3 or 1.4 or 1.5, I'm not sure about it, but more than a billion population India has got, right? So if this more than a billion population India has got, it is a big market for India. Secondly, it wants to cultivate India against China as well, because India, they want to see India as a regional power against China, which can easily counter Chinese hold over the region, right? So the US wants to get benefit of this market because under the globalization, these multinational companies and this and that. So in the free market economy, US can really get benefit from the Indian market to sell its goods in India. And for that, it is important that the growth rate, the GDP growth rate of India remains consistent, because it would be a growing economy. The buying price of consumers will then improve when the GDP growth rate is consistent, right? And for the market economy, it is important for consumers to buy, because this is the era of consumerism. It is important for consumers to buy things, products made in different countries. So if there is bad relation between India and Pakistan, and India is most of the times busy in its scuffles, in its conflicts with Pakistan, right? And Pakistan is busy in its conflicts with India. It would not only hamper the economy of Pakistan, but it would hamper the economy of India, the GDP growth rate of India as well, which the United States of America cannot afford at this time. On the one hand, there is a Chinese rise, economic rise, it wants to counter it. On the other hand, it wants to identify new markets for its goods as well, and India is that market, right? So the United States of America cannot afford an economically weak India, because it would have a negative impact on the industries in the US as well, because their product would not be sold then. So they would be rendered out of business by the Chinese, right? This is a very complicated thing. But you need to understand it. So for that, a disruption of peace is is lethal for the economic growth, for the economic benefits. So that peace between India and Pakistan is very important. So that is why, in order to keep India safe and keep it immune from conflicts, the United States of America needs to deal with Pakistan, not to pose challenges to India, right? Because it will have negative impact on the Indian economy, which the US in its own interest cannot afford, does not want to see that scenario. So it makes Pakistan again very important, and you would have seen in the past, whenever there are tensions between India and Pakistan, the US comes to the rescue. The US comes and it asks both the states to show maturity in their approach. Why does it do that? Because it wants to keep this status quo. The status quo should not be disrupted. Otherwise, then there will be chaos, economic turbulence in the region, and particularly in India, and this is what the United States of America does not want. So that is very important. So Pakistan, in these, the Chinese context, the Iranian context, the Afghan context, and the Indian context, for the United States of America, the importance of Pakistan cannot be denied. And that is because of its geographical location, where it is situated. I'm telling you this time and time again, that is because of this, right? Okay. Okay, so in continuation of that discussion, Iran's nuclear program, India's geopolitical muscle, strategic deal with the US, which I have just mentioned, right? To gain hegemony and counter the rise of China, which has the potential to change unipolar world into a bipolar or multipolar one. Now this is the concept of unipolarity, bipolarity and multipolarity. Uni means one, bi means two, and multi means more than two, right? So previously the world was a bipolar world. After the Second World War, it was a bipolar world. Soviet Union was one pole, the United States of America was another pole. But now, after the Cold War, after the disintegration of the Soviet Union, there is only one pole of power in the world, and that is the United States of America. So now the world is a unipolar world, right? But new poles of power, new power poles are emerging. So the world might again either go back to bipolarity, which is not that probable, but it would go back to multipolarity, right? Which means that that sole superpower, that unipolar world, the status of that sole superpower in the unipolar world, that is very prominent. US will lose its prominence in the future because of the rise of China, because of the rise of, you might say, Russia, right? There are many other power poles in the world which are emerging, but China is one of the major power pole which is very close to achieving that status of a global player along with the US, right? So the United States of America does not want it to happen, and that is why this unipolarity, and I have discussed the rest of the things previously. So that is why it is important for the US to have good relations with Pakistan, or it increases the importance of Pakistan, because without the support of this important regional country, the US would never be able to achieve its objectives. And it is with India, so it is again the same argument that with the help of India it is doing it. So it is important for Indian economy to have peace, experience peace, so that it can grow, and then Pakistan comes over there, right? So it is important for the US to deal with Pakistan, to keep it at peace with India, right? So amid these issues, Pakistan is directly or indirectly involved, as I have already mentioned. The US policy makers have repeatedly accepted the war against terrorism could never be won without the help of Pakistan, right? So all these issues, the scenario which I have just explained in quite detail, in all these issues, it cannot be achieved. The US objectives cannot be achieved. And then in the war against terrorism, their policy makers are openly, we will be discussing that in the coming classes, under that particular topic, but they are openly discussing it, that war against terrorism can never be won without the help of Pakistan, which shows the importance of Pakistan. The US has time and time again reiterated that Pakistan should play its due role to bring the Afghan Taliban to the table of negotiation with the Afghan government. This is what the US has been telling time and time again. You can just scan this whole 17 years era up from 2001, like 16 years, till 2017 when the Afghanistan was invaded until date. You can scan this era and then you can come up with a lot of examples where the United States of America has been asking Pakistan to play its due role to bring the Taliban in Afghanistan to the negotiation table with the Afghan government, so that the issues in Afghanistan can be resolved and the United States of America can find a safe passage or a face saving in Afghanistan, because the war in Afghanistan is kind of an indefinite one, right? It cannot be won, but the United States of America cannot afford to declare to the world that we are unsuccessful. We know what they did in the Vietnam, and they needed a face saving in the Vietnam then, right? So in Afghanistan they cannot declare that thing, because now it is the sole superpower. Even the USSR is not there to counter US. In Vietnam, USSR was there to counter it. It was supporting openly. The Viet Cong was supported by the USSR. But over here, nothing of that sort is going on, right? No big power is available to support the Taliban in Afghanistan. So the United States of America cannot blame anyone for that, and it can only put pressure on Pakistan, because Pakistan had diplomatic ties with Afghanistan when there was a Taliban government in Afghanistan. So Pakistan had got these diplomatic ties with Afghanistan. So it is kind of Pakistan in a very odd situation, but the United States of America is asking, it cannot ignore the role of Pakistan, and that is why it understands the importance of Pakistan in order to bring Taliban to the negotiation table, right? Because it knows that the Pakistani intelligence has got some kind of direct or indirect link with some of the leadership of the Taliban in Afghanistan. So that linkages, or that link, can be utilized for the benefit of the US and for the peace in Afghanistan. So that is why Pakistan is very important for that matter as well. Then a gateway to Central Asia, oil and energy. So the quest for oil and energy resources in the Central Asia is the center stage of the new great game. The old great game I have already explained, right? That what was the old great game between Russia and Tsarist Russia and Great Britain. So now this is a new great game, right? Happening in the region. So, but the pivot is the energy resources and the oil. The pivot of this new great game is the energy, resources and oil in Central Asia, right? So everything revolves around it now. After the collapse of the USSR, the new quest started, which is manifested by the politics of oil, right? So now this is the politics of oil. Wherever there is oil, you would see some conflict over there, and the United States of America would go there to democratize that region. We can see Iran, we can see Afghanistan, then so but the main thing is that the politics of oil is going on. Even there are some conspiracy theories about Afghanistan, that during the Taliban government there is a very good book written by Steve Cole, The Ghost Wars, and he says that during the Taliban government the United States of America had basically started negotiation with the Afghan Taliban, and they at a point they agreed that they would accept the Taliban government if the Taliban somehow allow them for that oil and gas pipeline from Central Asia to pass through Afghanistan and enter Pakistan, and then they can take away this oil to the rest of the world and trade in the oil. So Central Asia was there, but then somehow at a point these negotiations could not be successful. So that is why then 9/11 provided a pretext, and then they attacked, and then in order to achieve their own objectives, which were beyond the elimination of terrorism as well. Terrorism was one of the objectives. Elimination of terrorism was one of the objectives. But there were some larger interest involved as well in the region, and for that they needed to utilize Afghanistan. This is written, this is, I'm giving you the reference, you can read that book, Steve Cole, The Ghost Wars. So you can read that book, whether it's a conspiracy theory or whatever it is, but it is written, so you can have access to it. So this oil politics is there, right? And it increases the importance of Pakistan. The main point is that you need to understand this cross-cutting theme of this discussion, that this is the geostrategic importance of Pakistan, right? And that is why we are discussing all these things. Now Pakistan is located very close to the oil-rich Middle Eastern countries. The belt starts from Iran, extends to Saudi Arabia. So Pakistan is situated very close. And then the deep sea port in Pakistan. So if this oil is explored and it is, storage facilities are made in somehow situated close to Pakistan. I'm not an expert of the oil politics, how these things are done, but this is just my view. If somehow, so the ports of Pakistan can be used, and the stations, the international actors can be stationed in Pakistan in order to get benefit from these facilities, and then these coastline, these impoverished areas of Balochistan, they can also get benefit from this, from these kind of economic activities, and then who knows, we might see our own beautiful Balochistan like the United Arab Emirates in future, in 30 to 40 years, if these things can be materialized properly by Pakistan, right? If Pakistan uses its cards wisely. So we can see that a day is not far enough. Maybe we do not see in our lifetime, but yeah, a time will come that this region will see this kind of development if the policymakers use. So this oil-rich region, and then it gives importance to Pakistan, to the location of Pakistan again, right? Then in the energy-starved world, now this is important, the world is energy-starved, right? Because everybody, this is the era of globalization, industrialization has already matured. Now these Pakistan is located in a hub where energy-rich countries like Iran and Afghanistan are on the one side, right? And then India and China needs energy for their economic growth. They are on the other side. So Pakistan is basically in the middle of these energy-rich countries and these energy-starved countries. On the one hand energy-rich, and the other hand energy-starved countries. So what will happen? That Pakistan can play a role of a bridge in order to help this energy from energy-rich country to reach to the markets of the energy-starved countries like India and China. So Pakistan can, play this role of a bridge, and that is why Pakistan is a transit kind of economy as well. Pakistan can get benefit from these kind of passages and transitions through its territory, and it will be beneficial for Pakistan. So this is the importance of Pakistan, right? It is a bridge between these kind of activities and these kind of potentials, and supply and demand and things like that, right? The economic terminologies which I'm not that much aware of. Anyhow, then China finds a way to Indian Ocean and the Arabian Sea through the Karakoram Highway. This CPEC will be about, it will be completed somewhere in the near future, in a year or two. It will be operationalized, and the old Karakoram Highway, part of it has already been constructed, renewed, but CPEC will just provide an alternative as well. And so when these things are materialized, then this region will really get benefit. And how these things will be materialized? Through Pakistan, right? So this increases the importance of Pakistan, like a gateway. This is a right terminology used for Pakistan, right? It is a gateway to Central Asia. So this is the importance of Pakistan. Without the gateway you cannot reach, you cannot access these resources, right? And then the significance as a transit economy, the potential to develop transit economy on account of its strategic location, right? Pakistan has got this potential, that it can serve as a transit economy, it can act as a transit economy because of its own strategic location. So when it will start acting as a transit economy, it will be beneficial for Pakistan, right? It will not be like a closed-ended street. Pakistan is not like a closed-ended street. There is a huge world situated beyond Pakistan in Asia, and then Pakistan is a gateway to this. It is not a landlocked country, right? So it is a gateway. So that is why it is a transit economy. It can act as a transit economy as well, beneficial for its own. Then the landlocked Afghanistan is currently in the phase of reconstruction and finds its way through Pakistan to connect to the world for trade. So Afghanistan, as the United States of America after its intervention, now it is in a reconstruction phase. Though problems are there, but it is in a reconstruction phase, right? So in this reconstruction, it is highly dependent on Pakistan, right? You would have seen that during the previous few months when the Pakistani borders were closed with Afghanistan over different issues, over the issue of border management between Afghanistan and Pakistan. The traders in Afghanistan and Pakistan, they were suffering. The trade in Afghanistan was suffering. The patients in Afghanistan were suffering because they were supposed to be admitted in Peshawar and in hospitals in Peshawar. They were there, so they were suffering. So it shows the level of dependency Afghanistan is having on Pakistan. So if Pakistan utilizes its position wisely, then Pakistan can get benefit from the reconstruction efforts in Afghanistan, from this huge drive in Afghanistan. Pakistan can also get benefit from it, right? The nearest port of China, as I was already mentioning that in one of the previous classes, I guess in the previous class, that from Xinjiang, that is 4,500 kilometers. So the nearest port in China is situated quite far away from Xinjiang province, and which is in the western China, and China wants it to develop, while the port of Gwadar is situated only 2,500 kilometers away from this region. So it is feasible for China, for Xinjiang, for China, for the western Chinese, for the development of the western Chinese areas like Xinjiang, to utilize the Gwadar port for trade, rather than the Chinese port, which are situated about 4,500 kilometers away from Xinjiang. So Gwadar is nearer to Xinjiang than at the eastern coast of China, right? So that is why it is important for China as well. Then it offers Central Asian countries the shortest route, 2,600 kilometers as compared to 4,500 kilometers, or Turkey 500 kilometers. If these Central Asian countries need to trade with the rest of the world, so via Iran, they have to cover 4,500 kilometers to reach to the sea. Via Turkey, they need to cover 5,000 kilometers to reach to Turkey, to reach to the sea for trade purpose. But while via Pakistan, it is only 2,600 kilometers, so the land travel is minimized, right? It brings down the cost of the products. The shipping cost of the product is brought down when the travel is minimized, the land route is minimized. So that gives a competitive edge to the industrialist, because you know that the product, when it would reach Europe or it would reach the American continent, the shipping cost due to land travel would not have been that much, right? So the prices would be kept low. So consumers will definitely go for the products which have low prices. So that is also very important, right, for the Central Asian countries to have access to the world for trade purpose via Pakistan. Then Gwadar port, with its deep waters, attracts trade ships of China, CARs means Central Asian republics, South Asian countries, right? So this deep sea port or deep waters of Gwadar, basically it is providing an edge, because then large ships can really come close to the port, and you know, the offloading and loading and offloading, that becomes really easy. If there is no, if a deep sea is not situated or deep ports are not available, then what happens that the large ships, they station outside in the deep sea, and then they are offloaded in the small ships over there, right? The containers are, so it takes a lot of time. So the product which otherwise the product which can reach the consumers in 1 month, due to this extra effort in the deep sea, due to non-availability of deep sea ports, it would take 1.5 months or 2 months to reach to the market. So that would also, decrease the profit, because the industrialists, they need quick profit, but when the product does not hit the market, then they cannot expect this profit from the market, right? So it slows down the pace of trade, while the deep sea, the deep waters, it increases the pace of trade in this term, right? So that is very important for them, as again, for that purpose as well. Okay, then this western province, right, it provides this coastal belt of Balochistan, it provides this outlet to this western province, right? So you can link that with each other. Okay, then important link in the chain of the Muslim countries, right? This is also very important, that Pakistan is an important link in the chain of the Muslim countries. It occupies a central location in the map of the Muslim world, right? It is situated very much central. There is a map, I'm sure there is a map somewhere in the coming slide, so you will see it over there. So it is situated on a central location on the map, right, in the Muslim world. Then towards west of Iran, China extends to the North Africa. So it is again, when it is extending to North Africa, again it needs to go to through Pakistan, via Gwadar, via CPEC, right? Then and Pakistan can actively participate in the Muslim world's economic development, transport of resources, and etc. Right? So this increases the importance of Pakistan, because it is situated at a central location among the Muslim world, in the Muslim world. Right? Now this is, you can see the central location of Pakistan in the Muslim world. See, this is Indonesia. It is, then these are the Muslims of India, then these are the Muslims of Xinjiang, these are Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan. This is Pakistan, situated in the center. Then we have this Iran, Turkey, these North African countries. You can see this is North Africa. So this is North Africa. So then you can see that, Pakistan is situated in a central location. So, it is a link between these Muslim countries. And Pakistan, if it utilizes its position properly, it can really play the role of a bridge, not only among the energy starved and energy rich countries, but among the Muslim countries as well, right? And so this is basically this is the importance of Pakistan. And if Pakistan utilizes this importance for its own benefit, then I have no doubt that Pakistan can really become a prosperous country in the matter of a decade or so. But it is only putting your priorities right? Then it is the only Muslim country having the nuclear capability, which has great influence on the political, socio-economic activities in the region and the maintenance of status quo. Now this maintenance of status quo is very important, and you cannot disrupt the status quo when you think that disruption of status quo will not benefit you. And it will not benefit you because if you are disrupting a status quo, a nuclear state is basically facing you, and it will make sure that the status quo is there, because it is a powerful country, it is a nuclear state, and it is benefiting from this status quo, right? So if the status quo is somehow disrupted, then this benefit will be converted into a loss, and a nuclear state has got its muscles to avert that loss, right? So that's why it makes Pakistan a really important country, right? Now we just are concluding, and these are the same things which we have already discussed, that the geostrategic means the importance of a country by virtue of its geographical location, right? So this is, while history has been unkind to Pakistan, its geography has been its greatest potential if utilized properly, So then it can undo all the things which were not pleasant for Pakistan. Based on its geography, it can undo all these things and become prosperous. Then Pakistan is a junction of South Asia, West Asia, Central Asia, a bridge between resource efficient countries to resource deficient countries, right? So this is one point you need to remember while writing something on this topic. Then the world is facing energy crisis and terrorism, and Pakistan, we have already discussed, so Pakistan can play an important role, not only for transportation but a frontline state against terrorism as well. Then moreover, Pakistan has been traditionally ally of emerging economic giant China. So as a result of any significant change in the world politics, Pakistan's strategic significance would further enhance, right? So any change in the world politics would enhance the significance of Pakistan. So I think we have covered most of the aspects of geostrategic importance of Pakistan, but again I would say that this is a very detailed topic, and I just tried to give you a gist of it, and there is many more aspects and many more in-depth analysis which we can do, and which I expect you to come up with your presentations and regarding this issue and highlight some of the major aspects of the geostrategic importance of Pakistan. Thank you very much. Tomorrow we will be discussing in the next class, by tomorrow I mean in the next class, in the next week somewhere. So we will be discussing another important topic regarding Pakistan studies or Pakistan affairs. Have a good day, have a good weekend. See you next time, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.